everyone, and welcome to our community's annual Happiness Series. This year, 2024, marks the 8th installment of this cherished year-end celebration. It's a time for us to come together, uplift one another, and bring positivity to our society. We are honored to be guided once again by Shri Vivek Gupta, a widely respected contemporary spiritual teacher with over 15 years of experience. Vivekji blends the timeless wisdom of Vedanta with relatable, real-life insights to inspire people of all ages to live with purpose and independent joy. Vivekji's journey from conventional business success to seeking deeper fulfillment under the guidance of Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda has taken him across North America, sharing his vision of joyous living at satsangs, retreats, and even talks at places like the Pentagon and Amazon. My family and I have had the privilege of learning from Vivekji for the past 6 years. We have also had the pleasure of spending time with his wife Sheila and their 2 sons Vyasa and Shuka. It is truly incredible to see firsthand how Vivekji lives by what he teaches, and we are so blessed to have him guide us on our journey to independent joy. Now let's embrace this opportunity to learn, grow, and uncover lasting happiness together under his guidance. There you go.
Thank you, Deepal. You're joining us from College Station, and I'll be with you in June. Oh. Oh. Hari Om, and greetings from Flint, Michigan, America. Who do you love the most? Please share in the chat. Who do you love the most? You're welcome to share my name, but be honest, be accurate about who you love the most. William has shared oneself, Vasavi has shared myself, Megha has shared her family. The honest, accurate answer, whether you're writing this or not, is yourself. Every one of us loves ourself the most. But we have to dive into this more deeply. Why do you love yourself the most? Reflect and then write. Why do you love yourself the most? Because you're the most beautiful. Because you're the coolest. Because you're most narcissistic. Because you make you the happiest. You are the source of your joy. I welcome all to the Happiness Series. This is a series that directs us to the source of happiness. This is our 8th series. Each series has been at least 3 evenings, at least 1 hour. So this is an immense pool of guidance to the source of happiness. Yesterday, when I was asking all of you, how come kids laugh 300 times and we laugh 15 times? A seeker had written in the chat, because life happens. And you're all smiling, you're nodding. Is that healthy? Is that all right? Doesn't that indicate that we're not paying attention? And so as we complete this year's series, be here, be now. Turn your cameras on and smile. Write your names out in full. And in the chat, I've shared I'm joining you from Flint. Where are you joining from? By show of hands, how many of you like roller coasters? If we all went to an amusement park, you would go on a roller coaster. Yes, I see Shrikant and Richa and Vanch. Okay, let's say the typical roller coaster is 60 seconds long, and so we would go on it. What if there's a special option where this roller coaster would be 6 minutes long? How many of you would go on the roller coaster still? By a show of hands? My hand's coming down. I don't want to be on that for 6 minutes. Okay, what if there's a very special option where you know the owner of that park, you get to go on that roller coaster consecutively, as in it doesn't stop. After one loop, it just loops again for 60 minutes. Now, all of you tough people, how many of you are going on that roller coaster? None of you are, obviously. Then how come we normalize negativity? We know 6 minutes is pushing the limit. 60 minutes, that's a source of fear. That's a source of dysfunction. And so we know we're not going to do this. Why is it that we allow stress, anxiety, dejection to go on for a day, a week, a year, a decade? It is only when we face stigma can we break this. And those are fun words to say, let's face it and break it. It's very, I guess you don't tweet it anymore. Do you exit? What is that verb now? But in a more methodical way, I share this from my study of happiness. I share this from my own experience of happiness. One has to unlearn and then redefine. We started off the Happiness series on facing stigma, tuning into redefining prosperity. How many of you have gained some insight into redefining prosperity by show of hands? Now you put your hands up, write in the chat. What did you learn? It's very easy to lift your hand up. Now try to verbalize this. My master, Puja Swami Tejo Mayananda, I got to live as a monk with a master for more than 2 years. And he has taught me, so many are living by eat, drink, and be merry, but they're just pretending. You have to be merry to be able to enjoy that eating and drinking, correct? I got into Flint at 6:45 p.m. We left Niagara Falls at 2:15 p.m. I started my first workshop at 7 p.m. After I finished that workshop, I quickly got ready and thought about what I have to share for 9 p.m. So in all of this, my diet has been vanilla granola. These kinds of things keep you awake when you drive. Popcorn, chips, peanuts, etc. And I thought to myself that if I have dinner, if I force myself to eat dinner at 8 o'clock, I'm just not going to be enjoying this. My mind will be on getting ready now at 10 p.m. When the Rakshasas eat, that's when I will eat. When you're supposed to be sleeping, I will be awake eating, but it'll taste so good, yes? With all of this completion. So prosperity is from the inside out, not the outside in. Next, redefine integrity. Redefine identity, which naturally relates to integrity. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, our teacher, that is Shri Krishna, and his direct disciple or student, that is Prince Arjuna, Shri Krishna watched Prince Arjuna not face, but rather fall. He went into life, he went into his responsibilities, identified with service. But then he started to fall. He identified with family. That's all he was, a Pandava. But he fell more, he hit the ground, where all he identified with was his physical, psychological personality. The whole world was just about him. In other words, Prince Arjuna wasn't struggling from a capability crisis, but rather from an identity crisis. And so Shri Krishna guided him as his teacher, as his master, on how to evolve his identity from just being a physical, psychological being to identifying with family, to identifying with serving. And he did this through the 4 S's. The first S, swadhyaya. That is self-reflection. Getting to know. And I'll pause here. Perhaps we start with getting to like being alone more. The difference between loneliness and aloneness is not outside. It is based on your own comfort. Some people can be with lots of people and still be lonely. We went from 4 Ds. Now we're exploring 4 S's. The first S, swadhyaya, or self-reflection. The second is swabhava, or self-revelation. This is where you get to know your identity more. Why do I have these emotions like jealousy? Why do I have these emotions like pessimism? One gets to know what they're feeling. One gets to know what they are. Those emotions have a locus. There is a reason why I have these emotions. So I like myself more. I know myself more. The third S is swakarma. And that is self-reconciliation. When I get to know myself more, initially I may just find strengths. I'm so smart and I'm so charismatic and everybody likes me. But the more I get to know myself, I start to see the fear. I start to see the greed, the discontentment. Self-reconciliation is where you design your day, your week, your month, your year, your life to weaken your weaknesses and strengthen your strengths. See how one's identity starts to change. From I'm just the body and I'm just the mind, to I am a family and community, to I am a part of this multiverse. And when one follows through with these 3 S's, one starts to feel svadharma. Adhyaya, bhava, karma, dharma. Swadharma means your nature. What is your center? And that's why I earlier shared, you are the source of joy. The way that blood keeps this body alive, joy is the core, the foundation of you. And for those who feel this is too abstract, when you go to sleep, do you know what time you're going to sleep? If you know the time you're not asleep. When you're asleep, you don't know time, you don't know space, you don't know matter, but everyone loves sleeping. Those who don't have their cameras on right now, they're sleeping. But there's nothing there other than you that proves that you are joy. redefine prosperity with 4 Ds, redefine identity with 4 S's, and now we complete, for now, our redefinition of mentality. Some years ago, I was invited to an all-girls high school in Pittsburgh to speak at a diversity conference. I walk into this auditorium, and there's hundreds of students there, their teachers, their parents. And it's a private school, so they're in their uniforms. And I show up with my dhoti, that is my lower cloth, my kurta, my tilak, or the sandalwood paste. And before I came in, everyone was chatting away. As soon as I came in, everyone was staring away. Chatting stopped, staring started. Who is he? What is he doing here? And then I sat down in one of the seats, and then I was introduced as speaking at this conference. And when I came to the mic, I had shared, here I am at this diversity conference, and everyone is judging me without having said a single word. Correct. Now, when we reflect on judgment, those who judge the most, I judge your home, I judge your job, I judge how you parent, that's indicative that they judge themselves the most. For those who want a deeper idea, the more body conscious I am, the more conscious I am of your body. But if I don't care how I look, and I don't, then I also don't care about your physical body's appearance. When we are judged from the outside, when we are judging ourselves from the inside, it affects our mental health. We feel moha or stress. We feel bhaya or anxiety. Our mental health condition, our mental health struggles, these are real. And we, or I'll change the word, you have to accept this. I'm saying you in the sense that if I have a mental health struggle, I have to accept that I do. And I have found that when I accept this, the propensity of other people around to accept my mental health condition starts to grow. In the South Asian community, in the Indian community, in the Sanatana Dharma community, sometimes people don't accept their own mental health, and so their parents don't. They feel, grow up, stop crying. Sometimes when our older son Vyasa, you got to hear him earlier, when he's having a tough time, he's too hungry, too tired, he didn't get what he wants, and he's crying, and I'll share with him that eat something and then you won't cry, or rest and you won't cry. And he goes, I can't stop myself from crying. And it's so revealing. I just want to hug him when he says that he can't help himself from crying. This is a real struggle that he's going through. He's accepted it, but I haven't accepted it. But as soon as he communicates it like that, I do start to accept this. And so I encourage all people, specifically those who are younger, those who I feel I'm more dedicated to. I'm encouraging you to solicit, to find medical help, professional help. When I meet those who are younger, I share with them, don't become a lawyer. My wife is a lawyer. Don't become a doctor. My mother-in-law is a doctor. Go into a field that relates to the environment or the mentality. Become a guidance counselor. Become a social worker. Along these lines, I've shared with all of you many times, the purpose of a community is not a community. The purpose of a community is society. a mature, strong community looks after that which is bigger than itself, which is while being with you, our community has completed raising over $27,000 for Saki. It is an organization based out of New York that supports those who have survived abuse, specifically those who are South Asian. And now we're supporting Daya, another organization doing the same work in Texas, in Houston. Abuse is real. And when we accept that, we start to work to support those who have gone through this. Before I get into our framework, I'll share one more insight. Certainly, we should seek medical support, professional support for our mental health. We should also support ourselves. Often, those who are vulnerable, what can help them a lot is routine. Have you found that? When you're confused, when you're jet lagged in a micro way, a routine helps so much. For someone who's younger, someone who's going through a mental health struggle, a routine helps. And so I'm going to expand that a little bit more to purpose pulls performance. When we have a purpose, the best in our mind comes out. Our mentality is redefined. So far in our series, we have explored the manual that is Srimad Bhagavatam, the manual that is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and now the manual we will explore is the Upanishad. In each of these cases, it is Sri Krishna who's the hero, he's the teacher, he's the rishi or visionary. And so I'm taking us to our final framework, which is the 4 C's. Everyone remembers the D's. What was the first D? Dhyana. What was the first S in English? Self-reflection. Good. Here are C's. We start off with clarity. How to redefine mentality? Start with clarity. Now that's a pretty loose word. Adding more specifics, revolve around people who are clear. Revolve around people who follow purpose. When I'm following a car that knows where it's going, don't I know where I'm going then too? Revolve around people with purpose. This would be like Shravana, which encourages clarity. Next is conviction. Conviction, opened up more, is revolve around people who are following purpose, their ideas. You can't be around people with purpose all the time, but you can revolve around such people's ideas. You can read a book like Becoming by Michelle Obama. You can read My Experiment with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi. That would be like Manana. Shravana or active listening encourages clarity. Manana or active reflecting encourages conviction. What's the next C? Confidence. Confidence that I was with someone with purpose, I read about purpose, now I'm going to revolve around purpose. I'm going to revolve around my own purpose. This is where I try with a job. I try with a relationship. I just try. And in trying, I realize this is my purpose. This isn't my purpose. I keep tweaking until I find or follow my purpose. And remember, purpose pulls performance. That is like nididhyasana, active practicing. Clarity pulls conviction, conviction pulls confidence, and confidence pulls contentment. When one has followed their purpose all the way to the end, they feel peace. They don't need to be around purposeful people, purposeful ideas of their own. They're being the ends now. Our understanding our relationship with prosperity, identity, and mentality can change. So change yours. I pause as we transition to try to make this more real. Our team will invite Indraji once again to lead us through dynamics, to practice all of this theory, these teachings.
Hariom, everyone. For the dynamics for day 3, Indraji will take us through another incredible exercise for facing stigma. Indraji is a seasoned psychologist with 30 years of experience specializing in adult care and a certified Hindu spiritual care provider. She is also a hospital chaplain, dedicated volunteer with therapy dogs, and an active member of Chinmaya Mission Cleveland. With that, I'll hand it over to Indraji.
Thank you, Deepa. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. So we're going to start with a story. It's story time. It's going to be a very short story. So I want you to pay attention to the story, and then I will give instructions at the end of the story what to do with that. So imagine there are 3 pots, same size pots sitting on the stove, 3 different stoves, with the same amount of water in it. And you're bringing each pot to a boil. And in one of the pot, you put a potato that's firm and strong. You put a potato in it. In the second pot, you put 2 eggs. And in the third pot, you're going to put roasted ground coffee grinds. And you are going to let this 3 pots boil for about 20 minutes. And at the end of 20 minutes, you're going to turn it off. And you're going to let it cool just a little bit. And then slowly take the potato out, put it on a plate. Take the eggs out, put it on another plate. And then you pour the coffee into a cup. So what you will notice is the potato is probably soft, mushy maybe. The eggs have become firm. And coffee is coffee, right? So I want you to reflect on the symbolism of the story as it pertains to stigma or any challenge that we face, and mentality and your mental status, mental way of being, emotional. So we are going to send all of you to breakout rooms. You will have about 5 minutes for you all to discuss. And when you come back, you can share whatever you discussed into the chat. And also we'll ask for a couple of people who can actually come and share in a very short, concise way what they discussed and what they came up with as far as the symbolism and how it affects the topic that we are discussing today. That's mentality, looking through the lens of stigma. So here you go. Is everyone back, Yati?
Everyone will be back in another 10 seconds.
Got it.
Yes.
If you can give me a cue when people are back so I can give them instructions. Thanks.
Indiraji, everyone is back.
Okay, thank you. So if everyone can put their thoughts in the chat. See, what did you discover? What do you think was the symbolism? And what was the story trying to teach us? How important perspective is. We all are different in how we respond to circumstances. It can make us better, yes. You have to do your best. Our inherent nature comes out in adverse situations, yes. Blend in and spread your fragrance. Each of us has different needs to grow, nature of a person. How we embrace change. Our characteristics determine how we respond to the same circumstances, yeah, for sure. Use circumstances to bring out your best, yes, definitely. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, yeah. Sometimes being in hot water is good for us, definitely. Every part had the same purpose, yes, you're supporting. Coffee is the best way to live, yes. We're all different and unique in our own way, yes. So when you think about the situation, when you think about a situation where you're facing a challenge, and you look at it from your mental perspective, how you're facing the challenge, which one, if you had to choose between the three, which one would you choose? Which one do you think would be the most effective? Coffee. Coffee wins. Oh, goodness, yes. Yeah. Why do you think coffee wins? What makes you say that? It's stimulated, yes, unaffected. It blends. It doesn't get affected. It becomes better. It becomes one with the water. Yeah, there is transformation, right? The water gets completely transformed into something very fragrant and very tasty. Yeah, so we can look at a situation and say we can completely fall apart. We can become completely mushy, or we can become very firm and face the challenge, or we can really transform by the attitude that we bring to a situation. But then do we have time to ask people to share, or are we kind of running close to ending the dynamics?
Indiraji, we have 2 minutes to have people who would like to share as well.
Okay. Would someone like to share what they discussed in the group and how it came about? Maybe we can have 1 or 2 people keeping their comments very concise, very brief. If anyone wants to share, please raise your hand. Hariom Neelamji.
Yeah, Hariom Indraji, Hariom Vijayji. I mean, yeah, Vivekji. I always say Vijayji always. So I wanted to share that in our group we did talk like that a little bit, but how I looked at was like what Indraji said in the end. So I looked, because as you can see, I'm older and all that, so I've already lived my life. So it really helps, because if we stick to our values, like how Vivek ji was talking today, so we have that, from the childhood. If you have that connection with the spirit, with the spiritual, in whatever way you had, like how he gave his little baby child's example, like how he cries and the feelings, and he just said the truth, that was clear to him, that I can't help it. So that takes a lot of strength and courage, like the confidence, the conviction, so as a child itself. So for ourselves also, that's how we should do. And at any age, it's never too late to start. And along with that, like how we were told about the mananam, um, the clarity, the Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasana. So what happens is, like the coffee, you are able to adapt also. So like how it mixed with the water. So, and you transform, that was the word used, but that I used adapt. And then the Shravanam, like how you listen or you look at the story. So like the
Yeah. Thank you, Neelamji. So yeah, you're absolutely correct that when we face these challenges, if we can come with the right thought process, right attitude, then that leads us to that, what Vivekji was talking about, centeredness, when mind becomes very clear and we are able to make appropriate choices that we need to do to face a certain challenge. So thank you very much for all of your participation. Really appreciate it. And it's been an honor. Gratitude. Hari Om.
Thank you so much, Indraji. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing our next guest for the dialogue portion. It's always nice to meet in person and interact with another member of our online community. My family and I had the pleasure and opportunity to meet and spend time with Vani and her family last month during our yatra in Trinidad. One thing I noticed immediately about Vani was that she is very cheerful. Her attitude was always cheerful, and regardless of her circumstances. And now to introduce Vani, Vani Venkataraman is a graduate of the University of Michigan Social Work program. She has her Master's of Social Work and has previously worked in the hospital setting, specifically with oncology and substance abuse patients. Vani enjoyed her time working to help patients through rehabilitation programs, adjustment to illness issues, and procuring basic resources for those she was serving. For the past 11 years, Vani has paused her career to stay at home to raise her 3 boys, ages 11, 9, and 5. Now that her youngest is in school full-time, she is eager to see what path her career will take her. Vani lives in Denver with her husband and 3 boys. She has been a part of Chinmaya Mission Niagara since summer of 2020, her first class being Hinduism 101. Since that class, she has been hooked and attending weekly classes and parenting culture to continue her journey of self-development. In her free time, she enjoys baking and crafting with her kids, playing tennis, and spending time outdoors. With that, I'll hand it over to Vani.
Thank you, Deepal. Hari Om Vivek ji. Hari Om, everyone.
Hari Om, Vani. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. You're happy that I'm in Michigan right now, close to school.
Yeah.
Vani, I'm going to start with the first question, just because I really want to.
Sounds good.
So when I had started off with Tejas, I don't think Tejas knows what nervousness is. I also don't think Ryan knows what nervousness is either. So my question to you is, how nervous are you right now? 1 is not at all. 100 is totally nervous. So what's your rating?
150. No, thank you for asking the question and breaking the ice. I am nervous, but I'm also excited to have the opportunity to be here and speak to you. So thank you.
Sure, Vani, and I really appreciate it. I know that you're a little bit nervous, but don't be. You can ask whatever you want. You can share whatever you want. So you start, Vani. You can share whatever you want or ask me whatever you want.
Okay, Vivekji, I think I do have some questions, personal questions I like to ask. I also We have some amazing questions on Slido as well from the community. So I might go back and forth, but some of these questions are great and I'd like to make sure we get to them. You know, I guess I can start with maybe something, a follow-up to yesterday. Yesterday, you spoke about the pressure and stigma facing the rainbow community within our own community, and how colonialism created a more binary system of identity, which we still see remnants of today. The influence does shape what some think and feel about gender, sexuality, caste, etc. And yesterday we heard you and Ryan speak about this at an individual level. I was wondering if Vivek Ji can speak more about how our community can think, feel, and act to support members of marginalized groups within our own space.
Yeah. An awesome question, Vani. And you spoke it out so well too. And you noted so many details, which I appreciate. I think step one is exactly what we're doing. If we don't here, I'll replace the word face with the word talk. If we don't talk about it, it will always be externalized or compartmentalized. But the more we talk about this, the more normalized this becomes. So then we start to feel more accepting of ourselves, and everyone else does too. So simply talking about this. Secondly, when it comes to giving, the easiest thing we can give is resources. After that is time, and after that is effort. The more that we give resources to professionals who are supporting those in the rainbow community, people will feel proud, people will feel included in this community. If you go to our website, to the donate page, you'll see like 50 charities that we've supported. And we're closing in on offering almost $1 million to non-faith-based charities. We're a faith-based charity giving to non-faith-based charities. And many people in the rainbow community and second generation have shared with me how much they appreciate and feel included because of this work. Thirdly, Vani, is when a seeker accepts themselves using all of the self-development techniques that have been shared, and they live in a confident way, the people around them will also accept, will bend to them. That's why I'm encouraging everyone here is get to know who you are and be who you are confidently. Then the people around you will, again, bend to you. We love confident people. Even if we don't love them, their confidence we love and we start to follow them. So it's really important for people to be secure, to create more security for those around them. Fair
Great
enough?
answer. Yeah.
Good answer. Thank you for your approval of my answer.
I appreciate the answer. May I ask another question?
Yeah, go for it.
So just to piggyback off of that about, the advice about talking about it and bringing it to light. Another question I have is, addressing the stigma of mental health is very important to me in a professional capacity and personal. I personally have been affected by mental health struggles and the stigma of it from a young age. And my goal is that my kids and the younger generations don't face the same obstacles in getting the help they need because of lack of understanding or support. So that said, while working towards the goal of breaking the stigma and sharing my personal struggles openly, it has caused a great deal of stress, and I can even say anger, from some of my family and friends, as they are unable to understand why I would share such personal and vulnerable information. So they have felt defensive, upset by my decision to share my journey with mental health, and it has even caused some of them to cut ties with me and my family. So how do I continue to be a part of breaking the stigma while also not breaking connection with family and close friends?
Understood, Vani. If someone were to ask me what the highlight of the Happiness Series VIII would be, it would certainly be our dialogue. Tejas, Ryan, and you are great in just being so open. My first sentiment to you, Vani, is you can't control others. You can only do your best. And when you do your best, the propensity for people to accept you grows, but you can't force that. You have completed a master's in social work. You are being open about your mental health status. Your openness naturally makes everyone else around more open, but you can't force that. So I think an understanding of what you control and what you don't control will go a long way. Secondly, is to be patient. Now it's 2024. Think about matters like mental health or gender identity. How long it's taken for a community, this community, to talk about this. But it's happening. And certainly it can keep on happening faster. But wherever we are, it took patience to come to this point. So be patient with your immediate family, your extended family, and so on. Finally, Vani, whenever you have an anger thought, whenever you have a frustration thought or a fear thought, try to change the texture of that thought by thinking about something else. Here in Flint, I was sharing with seekers to chant, I am joy. 1 letter, 2 letters, 3 letters, more and more and more. Because if I have an anger thought, but all of a sudden the I am joy thought is flowing through my mind, I'm going to feel less angry and I'm going to feel more joy. In Sanskrit, we call this japa, to practice that more. How was my answer, Vani?
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. It makes a lot of sense. I'm going to move over to Slido for a second so that we can just make sure that we get to this. So the number one upvoted question is, what in the moment tactics can I use to maintain my motivation and discipline when I struggle to be consistent with positive practices?
Yeah. How many of you can relate to this question? Here, nobody used Slido, but they all have their hands up. I'd start off with having a personal relationship with someone who's disciplined. Earlier, I shared about revolving around a person with purpose. I got to do this for more than 2 years, and I feel because of that immersive relationship that I have, that me being in discipline in a certain way is harder than being disciplined. So you need to see someone who makes this real. Secondly, Vani, is to create a schedule where you're increasing your chances of following that discipline rather than not following it. If you try to do too many things, you're not going to follow it. Finally, there is a significant difference between faltering and failing. As a seeker, one who's trying to find happiness, you are going to falter. This journey is designed for us to falter, but the learning in that is to keep on trying. It's when we don't keep trying that we haven't learned the lesson, and that's where we start to feel like a failure. So I'm going to say it again if I've been unclear. Just like if I were training in an advanced physical way, there will be bumps. I have to learn how to run on a smooth road and a bumpy road. It's designed for that. This journey is designed for us to falter and for us to be resilient in that faltering. Okay? If you understand this journey more, you will be more successful. There?
Yes.
Okay, can I ask the next question?
Yes, please.
Okay. You have 3 children, all of which are boys. That's it. This is just, I'm giving you a pause right now.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
Okay. What advice would you give to yourself if you can rewind to the birth of your first child? What advice would you give yourself?
I've thought about this question often, actually, so it's not a very hard one to answer. First of all, I wish for those that don't know me, I am new to Chinmaya, and not so new, but in the last 4 years. So I really wish that I would have been a part of satsang and education that is similar to this, very holistic. Because, I was going to talk about this, growing up, we lived in a very rural, small town in Colorado, very little diversity, lack of support for our family. We were thousands of miles away from family. And, growing up as a kid, I always knew something was missing. And I didn't have the words for it, but soon, after being in class and, with Vivek and the other guides, I came to learn EQ and SQ. And those were the words that I was missing from the feeling I had was missing, the void I felt. So I knew I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom because I knew that I wanted to be present, and to develop this part of developing EQ and SQ was really important to me. So I would say I would certainly find some type of parenting culture like we have through Chinmaya Niagara as a way to support yourself through parenting. So if I had, the resources such as something like parenting culture, a community of other people who are the same vision, trying to, raise our kids in a Vedantic way in the secular world and try to incorporate spirituality, I just think that there's so much value. And, in the last 4 years that I have been a part of this community, it has helped me tremendously in my parenting. So
yeah. 100, Vani. That's the mark I'm giving you for your answer. And I'm glad you shared that. Being a caregiver, I see another seeker with her older parents that are joining. Then Sheila and I were caregivers of 2 young boys. Being a caregiver is depleting. And that's why being in a community with other caregivers makes the difference. Like if I were to give you parenting advice, but I'm not a parent, then I'm just offering you theory that came from a book and not my own practice of what I've read in different maps. So that's fine sharing, Vani. And I wish we really did have more time because I have so many more questions I wanted to pressure you with. But we'll pause here. Our team is going to offer a few thoughts, and then I'm going to offer a few thoughts, and we will complete our series. So in case our team doesn't do this, I'm thanking you in advance, Vani, for being such a great sport and for really signing up and showing up for this dialogue.
Thank you, Vivek.
Team?
Hari Om, and thank you all for joining us for our 8th annual Happiness Series. I wanted to express our gratitude to Vivek Indira our dialogue coordinators, Tejas, Ryan, and Vani, for such a meaningful few days of learning and reflecting. What an amazing way to close out 2024 on such a high note. As part of our completion, we wanted to share that there are many resources available for you to continue to review, reflect, and engage with the Chinmaya Mission Niagara community through our website, details which will be shared in the chat. Our community has a vast and diverse library of books for seekers of all backgrounds and ages, as well as detailed backgrounds of each of our community's inspiring guides. Looking forward to seeing all of you in our offerings in 2025 and wishing you a safe and joyous holiday season. Back to you, Vivek.
Oh, I'm still unmuted. Oh, I was saying things I shouldn't have. Thank you, Lavanya. On our website, the link that Lavanya was describing is called Resources. And there's so much in terms of podcasts and webcasts, and so many of the books and guides that you'll find there, they were written by people in our community, which is so awesome. I really like the notion of by the second generation for the second generation, or by the young for the young. So please do leverage all of these resources. Also, for anyone who's feeling so grateful for this experience, then express that as generosity towards society. Do that through daya. Daya in English means compassion. For those who are feeling compassionate, to support this organization that is the hands, the people in the field who are working with those who have gone through abuse. I offer my dakshina, or gratitude, to Yatin and Archana and our initiatives team, which have really taken the lead on this happiness series. They've also been supported by Ragini and Suhasini and Niru and our quality direction team. They're professionals who are working so many technological and social media aspects of what you're all getting to experience. My dakshina or gratitude to Indraji. She is someone who's ever available. There's lots of people who ask me for help and I just deflect and then delegate them to Indraji, and she never says no. Even for this workshop, she didn't say no. She's been here every night. And my dakshina or gratitude to our dialoguers. Tejas was solid, Ryan was solid, Vani is solid. And there's many more in our community who are solid like them. Maybe in the next happiness series, it'll just be just dialogue. We just keep moving around the room and have dialogue with different seekers. That would be really awesome. The recording for this happiness series will be offered as a gift to you on January 1, 2025. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you don't miss these recordings. Everyone come closer to the camera. I'm getting old. I had to drive a lot today, so please come a little bit closer. Now, can I see your lips? Now your teeth? Now both sets of teeth also? Now put your fingers behind your ears. Screenshot, quickly. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. I offer my prayers to divinity, to our maps, to our tradition of guides, to continue to grace us so that we're filled with gratitude and generosity. Please have a joyous completion to 2024. It has been lovely being with all of you all year, especially the past 3 evenings, and an even more joyous commencement to 2025 so that our community can continue to commune and serve society and serve humanity.